Welcome everyone to a Gamereactor quick look video. I am Magnus and this is Dóri. And the Steam machines and the Steam OS and the Steam controllers and the Steam Link are all about us now. They're out in the wild. They're being sold to the public. But I think the most important piece of the puzzle is the controller itself, because that is the link between you and the experience that Valve is offering you. Yeah. And you've been reviewing it, Dóri. But tell us first, what kind of controller is this?
Well, just looking at it, you can see that it is quite weird. There's only one analog stick. The face buttons are kind of small, which is actually, I think, a kind of a bug how small and to the side they are. But the main feature is these two haptic-enabled touchpads. Yeah. Which, what it does is it makes it able to function as a mouse, and the on-screen keyboard is super easy to use. We'll show you that in a little bit. And basically, with the gyroscope and haptic feedback and everything, it just feels so nice to play with once you get used to it. Yeah. Which does take a little bit of time.
Well, we already touched upon sort of the various sort of software templates you can use in our Steam Machine quick look video, which you can look at right here at Gamereactor. However, I think we should reiterate, and I think we should take a look at it again. But first, I would like to examine the hardware maybe a little bit more before we go into that, because I think people should take a look at the various buttons and stuff that there are on the controller. So maybe you could show us. You mentioned upon the haptic feedback stuff. Yeah, the one looks like it's divided into a D-pad, but it can be used as a regular trackpad as well.
Yeah, so let me find out. Yeah, here we go. There are two trackpads. This one is it has the D-pad kind of carved into it, because they expect it to be used as a D-pad for a lot of games, and that's what when you plug it into a game that is X input enabled for a normal controller, that's what it automatically detects it as. So this turns into a D-pad. What I tend to do is move the D-pad controls onto the analog controller, on the analog stick, and use this as the stick to move around, which it's weird to begin with, but when you get used to it, you're just kind of floating around, walking. It's really nice. On the other hand, here you have this D-pad over here. You can use either one of those. They can use as a mouse, as a trackpad, as a joystick.
All customizable, of course.
You can turn it to work as a wheel, so you move it up here.
Oh, right, yeah. So also, the face buttons from an Xbox controller, not a lot about, but they are a bit small and tucked away out on the side. Then you have back and start over here at the top, along with the Steam button. This shouldn't come as a surprise to anyone who's held a DualShock 4 or an Xbox One controller. Regular fanfare.
And this will call up the Steam overlay. This, of course, is like start and select in-game. The analog stick is, although it is a bit down to the side, it's the same as the face buttons, it is a really nice. The plastic on it is nice, and it's stiff enough to be precise.
But then again, you can adapt it so that you could have selectable equipment on that, so you don't use it constantly, so you don't have to stretch your thumb. But it works well for what it does.
Yeah, the key word on this controller is customization. So you can use the analog stick for all movement if you like. Yeah. Or no movement. You can only use the touchpads or whatever. Anyway,
let's turn it around.
Here on the back. You have, of course, the two bumpers. You have the two triggers.
Again, regular fanfare.
Yeah, and they have a nice little click.
Oh yeah, they have a click.
And these are two-faced trigger buttons, so you can program them to do something when they're half pressed. Yeah. And then another function when it clicks.
Yes.
Yes. And then you have these two little paddles here that you would know from, for example, the Xbox Elite controller or third-party,
Mad Catz
controllers and stuff like that. Now,
before we quickly, it doesn't charge via the USB, but it connects via the USB.
It connects, so you can use it as a wired controller, and then if you slide this little button here, you pop off the paddles, and you can see the little battery compartment here. There's one in each handle, which a nice weight distribution.
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah. Cool. So solid hardware all around, if not a bit finicky with the looks and the aesthetic design, but I think it's something.
The thing is, when you have it in your hand first, it feels hollow and plasticky and kind of, maybe you could say a little cheap.
Looks like a regular controller that's melted.
True.
But then again, it's all about how it feels to hold, because like for us gamers. We hold this thing for hours on end.
And the thing here, as you can see, if you go back to the close-up, it curves upwards into your palm instead of down. Yeah. Which is key because it puts your thumb into the right position to land on the touchpad.
Yes.
But yeah, let's cut quickly to the...
let's take a look at the software.
And PC over here.
Because then again, as you said, keyword here, customization, adaptable software to make the controller sort of answer to your specific call.
And right here, we just have it in the regular Steam, and as soon as you plug it into Windows, it works as a mouse, which is nice. Yes. However, if you want full functionality, you need to go into big picture mode. Yeah. Which looks very much like the Steam OS.
It's not the same?
Well...
No, the Steam OS is
operating system.
It's an operating system.
This is just graphical overlay, basically. So...
There's no real difference?
No. Except for, of course, the Steam OS is running everything on your machine. This is just running Steam. Anyway.
Okay.
Enough about that.
Yeah.
Here you can go through, of course, your library and all that stuff. You can go through...
Yeah, we've touched upon all of the stuff. Let's look at some of the customization and the settings that apply specifically to the controller.
Yeah. So, for example, here I have Counter-Strike Go.
Which, what does that little icon? If you go back out there, what does that say? The keyboard.
The keyboard.
Icon.
This is a keyboard-enabled game that does not have gamepad support.
Okay.
So you will need to emulate a keyboard to play it. Over here, you can see a little
controller support. Oh, okay.
It's controller support. So you can choose. Do you want the Steam controller to pretend to be similar to an Xbox controller and then work on it? Or do you want to go the keyboard and mouse route, which will give you more sensitivity and more accurate?
All right.
The best, of course, is in games that allow both, that allow a gamepad to be used at the same time as a mouse instead of switching in between, which means that you can tell the controller to do some functions as a keyboard and mouse and some functions as...
So it's all down to the adaptation itself.
Yeah. And then, of course, you have games that are specifically tuned for the controller. And that, of course, is the dream scenario.
So when you boot up your Steam OS with your new Steam controller the first time, you shouldn't be scared that it's either showing a keyboard icon or a controller icon, because it supports both. It's just a matter of how the customization works.
Exactly.
Yes.
And so here we're booting up Counter-Strike Go, which of course is a, well... Valve created game.
Why doesn't it have controller support in their own game? That's just a question. Yeah, I don't mind if you can't answer it.
Actually,
we have a little console.
Open up the console here.
How did you do that? I wonder.
I pressed the button.
Oh, right.
There we go.
I'll click with the trigger.
Yes.
Yes. Let's play.
So first of all, let's check out the controller configuration.
Yes. This is a key screen right here.
Yeah. So what you can do here, of course, you have the recommended, and of course, because it's a Valve game, they have made their own official configuration from Valve. Then you can go down to community, and you can see 736 people are using Geek Avengers bindings.
Yeah. This is just a community member who's made his own.
Yes.
And you can press like Y when you've created some save as, and you can publish sort of your own settings.
And a great way to start is going into the templates here. You can select a template, and then from there,
you can adapt it further.
Change some of this.
Yes.
And what this has is put movement over here on the analog stick. I would like to move that over here to the pad. I'm not going to spend time on it here. They've put the camera onto the gyroscope, meaning that when I touch the right pad, the pad over here that controls the camera, it also enables the gyroscope automatically.
So you can look in one direction, but then slightly tilt, for example.
No. So let me show you how it works.
Yeah, let's do that.
Quickly jump into a game.
We do have some overlay down there, like tracking FPS and stuff, but that's probably cool.
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's find a match and see how this thing works. Does it say go? Yeah, it does. Good. So we're finding a game right now with other players.
Yeah.
That's good. So the funny thing is, I don't think that it particularly feels cheap. It just feels too different for you to appreciate the stuff that it does right away, at least.
Yeah, like if I hadn't had this for, what was it, 3 weeks or?
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
Just under a month. Right out of the gate, if I had only had a week with this, it would have gotten a lower score.
Yeah.
For sure.
But it's something you get used to, and it's also like, as you mentioned in your review,
the first line of my review is like, okay, this feels weird in my hands. It feels different, and then after 2 weeks, I was like, it's supposed to be different because you're interacting making me interact differently with the game.
And also, one thing that I wanted to mention, also that you touched upon in your review, is that when you're messing with the way we control games, specifically WASD mouse and controller, you're messing with a lot of years of muscle memory.
Yeah.
So you're bound to feel sort of insecure about it at first and feel like it feels too weird for you to understand. But that's because that most of the people that's going to watch this video has probably either spent a sizable amount of their lives doing mouse keyboard or controller, or both.
Yeah.
So when you move around and you introduce a very new way of controlling a game, you're bound to get there's bound to be someone that's going to be pretty upset or feel like this is too different for me.
I shouldn't have booted up Counter-Strike.
No, you shouldn't.
Just kidding.
But it does
want to
look
show,
like
as soon as I'm touching the pad, I use the gyro to look up and down.
But you could also not do that.
Yeah,
you could the movement feels good, despite the fact that you don't have the gyroscope. But the funny thing is, like for me, looking just at the screen and not at the controller, it looks like a mouse and keyboard controls, like the very sensitive, itchy, gameplay, Twitch-based, basically.
Yeah.
So that's cool. So what if you want to turn around right now? Look, yeah. But then again, if you want stuff to be slower, more cinematic, or more console-friendly,
just mess around with
the settings. But as we said,
like I said, you can set it up to work alongside the controller sensitivity or the mouse and keyboard sensitivity.
The thing about, I think, the Steam controller, which is both like its greatest flaw and its greatest strength, is that the rabbit hole is as deep as you want it to go. Yeah. If you are not prepared to be patient and to fiddle with the settings and adapt it to your liking, then you're not going to find as much enjoyment in it, I would say. But if you have the patience, the same thing as you, unpackage it, feel the negativity about it, and then sort of turning around over a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks of getting used to it, then it's something quite special.
Yeah. Now there are things about it that kind of annoy me a little bit.
Yeah.
One of which is, of course, it uses 2 standard AA batteries that do not charge through the USB. It would be nice that you could buy rechargeable batteries that would automatically charge. But then again, they say it's about 80 hours of
that's a lot of battery
use
time
through the batteries. I can neither confirm nor deny that because I haven't run out yet.
Okay, but that's something. That's I think a glowing recommendation.
Yeah. Another thing is it does not have an audio jack out.
That is insane to me that it is
especially looking at it as they want it in the living room. What you want to put your console over there and then have a wired headset or like a wireless headset, but you need to plug it into the console.
Yeah,
it's kind of weird.
A lot of people actually tend to use iPhone headsets and stuff for the DualShock or Xbox One controllers. So that's sort of detriment to that. Yeah. The longest iPhone headset you've ever seen has to run over from your television. Yeah. But then again, as you said, wireless Bluetooth headset solves that in a jiffy.
Yeah. Now the face buttons, as I've said, feel a bit small and a little bit to the side from your thumb. Yeah. So you tend to maybe push the wrong button some of the time. You get used to it, but I would like them to have been bigger. I do like that it is the Xbox buttons because when you are customizing in-game and you're changing a lot of things around, of course the on-screen prompts don't change.
Okay, yeah.
So it says, press space or press A. You need to remember, that was the paddle.
Oh, or that was, there's like the.
So it helps to have.
To each other,
it helps to have the same buttons because it just, it's kind of how your mind works. Like, it says X, press X.
Yeah, of course. But overall, a fine piece of hardware. Yeah, I'd say. Yeah, and for Valve's first real go at it.
Now, of course, this looks really different from the prototype that they first shown at around 2013.
Much better.
They've added the more familiar face buttons and the analog stick.
The first one was awful to look at, I thought. I think they've really cleaned this up, despite the fact that there are minor flaws. But then again, as we mentioned also in the Steam Machine review, was that remember how the Duke Xbox controller felt contra to how Xbox One controllers feel.
Yeah, I think
the first go at it
I think basically just the first iteration that they showed off was this is going to be instead of your mouse and keyboard.
Yeah.
This iteration is we're taking over your gamepad as well.
Yeah. So I think it does both, which is really cool and now represents value.
Is it good enough for me to switch out sitting at my desk and not use mouse and keyboard? No. But I will be playing a lot more games on my couch, even some first-person shooter games.
Yeah.
Like Counter-Strike that we just saw, I'm never going to be playing that with this.
No, of course not. But that was never the point.
No.
Valve never intended you to completely like throw your mouse and keyboard in the trash.
No.
It's just meant to be the couch alternative, so that people like you, PC players, inherent PC players, will say, might sit on the couch for this one. And then they've won.
Yeah, and now when it comes down to other genres like point-and-click games or even RTS games, it's naturally a great fit. And this might even work for games like Dota, which have been impossible to map two controllers before.
True, yeah, true.
So, and with the customization, you might have different customization for each hero as well.
Oh, right, yeah, that's pretty cool.
So it's like, okay, you load up this hero, then you go into the customization and you select the controller output for that hero. And
that's
so
really cool,
the possibilities are virtually endless with the customization on this.
Yeah.
So,
brilliant piece of hardware.
I loved it. I gave it an 8 out of 10.
Yeah, you can navigate for a more in-depth look at the controller, more in-depth than we've been able to hear.
Although we have been talking for a long time.
Yeah, but still written form on your local Gamereactor domain, so please head there for more information.
Yes, thank you for your time.